Welcome all to another episode of your favorite podcast. Targo, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. How are you doing?
Doing fantastic. Just got back from the golf show. My other hobby that's not podcasting, where I had a couple of good brews. So what you got on tap today?
My brew for this episode is Pelican Brewing Hefeweizen Style Ale. There you go. Let's try it, shall we?
Let's get a reaction. Let's go. He likes it, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep,
he likes
not bad. How do you know me so well? You knew before I did.
Yeah, it's because I could tell by your immediate reaction on your face. So could everybody else. Today, I am drinking Drew Brew Ski Patrol. This is a German-style dark lager that supports Ski Patrol. So I thought that I would indulge and aid to the cause. It sounded pretty good, so let's try it out.
A beer with a cause. I didn't know you had such a big heart.
You know, sometimes I got to. I'm only soulless in ginger form, so it's actually really good. It kind of tastes like a Dunkel, but a little lighter.
I'm not a fan of Dunkels.
But a little lighter, so more Dunkel
that's more
lager hybrid. But it's really good. I enjoy it. If you are watching along, please, if you've tried it, let me know what you think. But till then, this is our brews. Now let's get to some banter. Welcome to Brews and Banter. Targo, we had the Champions League this week. First legs of the rest of the games that haven't been played yet. First up, we had on the 21st, Eintracht Frankfurt against Napoli. We both predicted this was only going one way. It was more of what the scoreline would be, and guess what? It only went one way. This one ending 2-0 to Napoli.
Yeah, the hardest part about this game was pronouncing one of their players' names, man.
Yeah. Do we want to just do a little segment about butchering it or how to actually pronounce it?
Yeah, it was funny. So I watched this game, and obviously listening to the commentator say it, and then I watched him on the weekend here, and listen to that commentator pronounce his name, and they both pronounce it differently, so can't butcher it too bad, but Kavica Kvaratskhelia, something like that.
Yeah, Kavica Kvaratskhelia. I mean, it has a lot of consonants and vowels in it, and its first name is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 letters long. Last name is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 13 letters long. So, I mean,
and there's a bunch of silent letters in there, man.
let's try to get some TikToks going on this. How to
pronounce that?
It.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, make sure to follow us on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. Subscribe and watch our YouTubes. Hit that notification bell, and subscribe. But this one ending 2-0. Victor Osimhen, man on fire.
Yeah.
Scores in the 40th minute. This was really only one way. It should have been a lot more than 2-0, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was one-way traffic for sure. And then it didn't help when Frankfurt got a red card. Kolomoani gets sent off in the 58th minute.
Yeah.
It was a little harsh for me.
Doesn't help anybody when your best player gets sent off.
Yeah, he is their best player. He was their main man up top for that game. And
it was a little harsh, I might say.
I thought so too, man. He got the ball, but then his follow-through kind of goes through the ball and then catches a Napoli player, Anguissa. I don't know. Maybe we're used to the Premier League where crunching tackles are a little bit more common.
Yeah, but, I mean, with the Premier League, it's a certain level of refereeing that we're not used to in the Champions League. As in, it's really bad in the Premier League, and it's decent in the Champions League. So, who knows? Either way, he's suspended for the second leg. I don't see any way back with Kolomoani out in the second leg for Frankfurt.
Nope.
Yeah. Next up, we had probably the most entertaining game of the week.
Ooh.
We had Real Madrid against Liverpool. This one ended 5-2. Liverpool going up 2-0 within 15 minutes.
I mean, the bear, man. That's all they did.
The surprise for me was Jurgen Klopp started Darwin Nunez out on the left, Cody Gakpo up central, and then Mohamed Salah on the right. I didn't expect him to do that change. but it seemed to work out for at least the first 15 minutes.
Yeah, I would even say the 20 minutes or so. But yeah, they poked the bear. Darwin Nunez had a nice goal. And then Courtois had a terrible mistake, man, for Salah's goal. I mean, that was just...
It was bad.
He got caught on the ball, had a bad touch.
Slipped, and then Salah, he was there. Like, he just...
Hand it to him on a
open goal.
silver platter,
Yeah. But I do think that Darwin Nunez goal on 3 minutes, it was a beautiful near-post flick, caught Courtois guessing that someone else was going to go for it.
Yeah, it was a beauty.
It was almost like a glitch in the Matrix. It really was. I just want to get that saying in there. And then, another glitch with Courtois slipping. But the third goal in the game, Madrid getting their first with Vinny Jr.
Beauty.
What a finish.
Yeah, this is where the Matrix starts to correct itself.
Right?
Yeah, Vinny, man, that was a beautiful curler past Allison. Not much he could do on that one.
I think for that one, the thing that surprised me the most was Virgil van Dijk literally was standing there watching the whole time.
He did, like, you see his head just go with the ball. Like,
and he's just like, oh, shit. And then Vinny Jr. with another glitch in the Matrix. After Allison goes to clear the ball, it bounces off him and goes directly in the net. Yeah,
Allison saw Courtois' mistake. He says, I can do one better.
Right.
Kicks the ball right into Vinny. I mean, it was a little unlucky it happened to bounce into the goal, but still terrible.
Still, like, in that situation, you're looking to hit the ball out of bounds. Maybe hit him
he was trying to pass it, and he passed it into Vinny. He was
right in his leg. Like, you never do that as a goalkeeper.
Yeah, it was terrible.
All of this was in the first 35 minutes, by the way. And then Militao off of a fantastically worked free kick by Madrid puts Madrid ahead on 48 minutes.
Fantastic free kick, poor marking, whatever you want to call it. Both.
I thought it was a fantastic free kick. It was right on his head.
No one followed him.
He was
running all by himself.
Which started a half that was completely one-sided and dominated by Madrid.
Yeah.
Karim Benzema made it 4-2 off a Joe Gomez deflection, which was unlucky. But as a defender, you can't be turning that direction off a strike from a striker. You cannot be putting your back to the ball.
Yeah, turning away from the ball.
Yeah. No, you open your body up so that way you can get a solid deflection on it, not a guessing one, which ultimately fools your goalkeeper.
Shoot, man, I didn't know you were a defender.
I was at one point. In college, I should say.
Oh.
You were there with me. Yeah.
Yeah, you played like right back or left back, didn't you?
I played right back, yeah. Right back and then all the way up the field for every single throw-in ever. So, and then Benzema, with probably the nicest counter I've seen against Liverpool this season, scores his second to make it 5-2.
Yeah, Benzema was cool, calm, and collected on that one, man.
Yeah, him and Vinny Jr. Vinny Jr. with a nice mag. Give the ball to Benzema. And he just makes everybody look foolish.
Sits them all down, and then top corners it with his left foot.
Yeah. I guess the real question is, do Liverpool really stand a chance in the rest of this tie? You can't say never, but I think going back to Madrid, I think this is over.
Can't say never walk alone. They're walking alone into the Bernabeu, that's for sure.
Yeah. It's just the 11 guys and Jurgen Klopp. I am sorry. This is not going to be fun for you guys. Next
we'll
up,
see. I think they'll make it interesting. Having said that,
still make it interesting. On the 22nd, we had Inter Milan against Porto. This one was kind of a dull stalemate until Romelu Lukaku came on. This one ended 1-0, Lukaku getting the only goal of the game.
Yeah, Lukaku was a difference maker once he came on. He was bullying that defense and was creating chances, and then eventually got the goal. Kind of a funny goal. He takes the shot, and it bounces. Was it off the post, or he gets a header off the post?
Yeah, and then finishes his own rebound.
Yeah, but I will say he looked good coming on, and he definitely changed that game.
He did. I think that's the first time he's been benched for a game for Inter, and he's got a point to prove now.
Well, he's been benched quite a bit. He's been coming off the bench
Oh,
in Serie A.
Okay.
They've been liking Dzeko and Lautaro Martinez.
Well, either way, that's even more of a point to prove at that point then.
Yeah, wait till we get to this weekend.
We'll see. We'll see. Next up, we had RB Leipzig against Manchester City. This one ending in a 1-1 draw. This one had my two favorite announcers, I do have to say. Ray Hudson is the master of analogies, and I don't know how he thinks of them that fast, but they are amazing. And Andres Cordero as his partner in that one. It just has to be said that they're my favorite, and they do a lot of Europa League games. You don't hear them very often on the Champions League. So, first up, we had Riyad Mahrez putting City ahead on 27 minutes. This is just like the Arsenal game. Leipzig gives the ball away in their own half. Brilliant dummy from Mahrez, letting the ball go through the defense, fooling everybody, and then he just...
I wouldn't say it was a dummy. He tried to pass it to someone, and then it kind of broke through, went through Gvardiol's legs. It was a little unlucky on Gvardiol's part.
Well,
but take nothing away from the finish.
I agree. This game, positive note, saw the return of Christopher Nkunku from injury, came on as a substitute in the 66th minute, which could be a deciding factor in the second leg. Again, the last person to score a hat trick against Manchester City. And speaking of Gvardiol, he equalized in the 70th minute, rising all the way above Ederson to score the goal. And as Ray Hudson said, he rose like a salmon in the proverbial stream to head the ball over Ederson.
Well, he kind of rose over Ruben Diaz. I know they've looked at that one on VAR for a while for a foul. But, man, that was like a game of two halves. In the first half,
it really was.
Man City just dominated. They just dominated Leipzig. Leipzig had hardly any looks at goal. And then the second half comes about, and Leipzig grew into the game, and they're like, okay, we can play against Man City. And you saw them start to put together some passes and create chances.
Yeah, I mean, they know they can hold their own against the big boys. They've done it against Manchester City in the past. And, again, tale of two halves. Henrik's substitution made an immediate impact.
He did. He was flying down that right side for Leipzig. Definitely, when he came on, he got their first couple chances in that half.
He really did. But, I mean, this is anyone's game going into the second leg. It really is.
It is. I still think City. Kevin De Bruyne didn't play in that game. I think he might need to come on.
He didn't even travel, yeah.
Yeah.
So he could be the difference maker. If Nkunku has full fitness, he could be the difference maker. Again, with the way City has played this season, it could go either way. I'm sticking by my statement. I think Leipzig might go through on this one.
No, I think if Kevin De Bruyne plays, Man City's a completely different team with Kevin De Bruyne on that field, man. They play so much better with him.
I agree, but I know you're going to stick by City because you picked them to win it all. So
I did.
Next up, we got Europa League action. This was the second leg of the first round for all of the games. On the 23rd, we had Ajax against Union Berlin. This one ending 3-1 for Union Berlin after a 0-0 draw in the first leg. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Union Berlin looked really good almost this entire game.
Yeah, it was a little back and forth. I feel like Ajax, a little hard done. They had a couple goals taken off due to VAR, but they were rightfully so. But yeah, Berlin, they took their chances and
could be the surprise outfit in the Europa League.
Could be
when we get to the draw. Next up, we had the game everyone was looking forward to. Barcelona against Manchester United. This one going United's way after a 2-2 draw in the first leg. United win this one 2-1, 4-3 on aggregate. But man, this was an entertaining game to watch. Barcelona dominating possession. Manchester United with more, almost double shots on goal than Barcelona did. It just, to me, this just seems like the typical game nowadays where Man United thrives.
Yeah, I thought honestly they looked like the better team, which is astounding considering they're playing Barcelona.
Yeah, a team that has the best defense in Europe. Best defense in Europe. Stats-wise, on paper. Yeah. But what I didn't get was how many changes Xavi made, especially going forward. I know Gavi and Pedri were out for this game, so he didn't have a choice in midfield. But again, he's switching it around versus what he does in the league, and it didn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not Xavi, man.
So,
I mean, he had Lewandowski still up top. He scored their first goal, PK.
Yeah, on a penalty.
A little rough, too. He almost missed it.
I was going to say, do you think that was a penalty?
I thought it was soft. It was, who was it? Bruno grabbed someone, and it kind of turned him.
Balde,
that's who it was, yeah. I mean, he grabbed him. Can't do that.
No. Yeah, I mean, it's an age-old saying. If it happened anywhere else on the field, it's called a foul. It happened in the box, you got to call it a foul.
It's a soft one, but...
A soft one, but a foul nonetheless. Yeah, Lewandowski put Barcelona ahead. Fred equalized on the 47th minute with a fantastic game by him, I might add.
Yeah.
And Antony put United ahead on 73 minutes. And
beautiful finish.
It was a great finish. Despite everything I've said against Antony and him being a bust of a signing. Still jury out on that one for 100 mil, but he's starting to put in the performances. Just like Jack Grealish, so I'll admit it now. Next up, we had RB Salzburg against AS Roma. Targo, you called this one.
I did,
First leg
remember?
Ended 1-0 to Salzburg. You said Roma were going to come back, and they did, winning this one 2-0. Andrea Bellotti gave him the lead in the 33rd minute, and Paulo Dybala with a beautiful goal in the 40th minute.
Yeah, if you haven't seen that goal, man, check it out. It's a good one.
It is. It's a beaut. But
I told you Roma, man.
You did. Do I say I'm sorry? I'm not, but do I say it? I don't know. All right, now we're going to get to the most interesting and exciting two games of the round, even though on paper they probably wouldn't be. First one we had was Shakhtar Donetsk against Rennes. This one ended 3-3 aggregate. The game itself ended 2-1 for Rennes. They went into extra time and PKs. But man, was this back and forth. I mean, there was all sorts of things. You had 3 goals. You had 2 called off. Injury time. Goals. Own goals. Penalty kicks. What else do you want from a game?
Man, that own goal, though, at the end was that's a rough one. I feel bad for that defender. That was harsh.
I feel bad. Yeah, it was so rough.
But honestly, I think the difference maker in that game was Shakhtar's goalkeeper. He made some good saves in that game and then saved 3 penalties. So,
yep. I had all 3 written on his water bottle as well, which direction they were going. So, did his homework. Next up, we had Bayer Leverkusen against AS Monaco.
You called this one, didn't you? I think you said
did.
Leverkusen.
I did say Leverkusen were going to win. However, this was much closer than I thought.
By the skin of their teeth, man.
By the skin of their teeth. They won the game 3-2. Aggregate was 5-5, winning on penalty kicks. But holy cow. Florian Wirtz scored a tap-in the 13th minute. Ben Yedder scored in the 19th for Monaco. Ezekiel Palacios scored in the 21st, which was beauty. Amin Adli scored to make it 3-1 with a header.
That was a good header, too.
Yeah. And then Monaco leveled the aggregate score in the 84th minute. Real Mbolo scoring a header. It's so late. Score an equalizer, so much drama. It's why we love European football. And then Leverkusen won it 5-3 on PKs. Honestly, the penalty kick shootout.
You never know,
want to end because both teams
gone either
deserve
way.
to win. It was fantastic. Can we have that game just keep going? It was amazing.
Yeah.
Ultimately, Leverkusen went through. Feel bad for Monaco, but it is what it is.
Yeah, Ben Yedder for Monaco, man. He looks like one heck of a player right now.
He is. He's on fire. And good news for Leverkusen, Florian Wirtz, one of their standout performers, young guns this season. He's back to full fitness from injury. So going forward, he's going to be a huge help for them.
And he's young, man. He's only, what, 20?
21, yeah.
Something like that. He's young, but yeah, he's definitely had his injury issues here, I know, the past bit.
Yeah.
But man, the potential for him is huge.
Huge. Next up, we had Juventus against Nah. I mean, this only went one direction. I think we both called it. I might have said Nah could have a chance, but they didn't. This one ended 3-0 with an Angel Di Maria hat trick. And man, what a worldie he had in this one. First time outside the 18 on the right side, curls it. Keeper doesn't even move.
That was a beautiful goal, man.
Man.
If you haven't seen that one, check that out.
Oh. I'd watch it like 10 times. I'm not going to lie. I couldn't believe they hit that first time. He was running away from the ball, comes back to it, hits it first time, curls it upper V. I didn't see that coming. It didn't help that Nicolas Palois got a red card in the 17th minute. It was a little harsh, I would say.
I thought so too, man. Like, he kind of fell on the ground, and it was Di Maria kind of takes a shot, and as he's on the ground, it kind of hits his arm. But if his arm wasn't there, it would have hit his body. So that's why I thought it was harsh.
Yeah.
But because I think it was going in the goal, that's why they deemed it red.
Either way, didn't help. Juventus was up 1-0 at that point, and then they went on to score 2 more. So,
yeah,
Juventus through to the next round. They're going to be a force no matter where they go. They're Juventus, no matter what penalties are against them. Next up, we had Sevilla against PSV going into this game. Sevilla was up 3-0, and man, did they want to make it interesting. PSV winning this one 2-0. They had to wait till late. Luke de Jong scoring in the 77th and Fabio Silva scoring in the 95th.
Yeah, 90 plus 4, whatever it was.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, they made it interesting, but not till very late.
Yeah, and then they got a red card on 97 minutes. So,
yep.
I didn't think they had any shot. They sure as heck made a good fighting chance of it, but too little too late for PSV on that one. Next up, we had Sporting against FC Midtjylland. Yeah,
I think I called
Targo,
this one too, didn't I?
All right, you called it again. Sporting won 4-0 in this one. I'm not going to lie. Midtjylland was a little unlucky with some of these goals.
No way, man.
A couple of deflections to go in. However, there was a red card. Second yellow, 38th minute. What'd you think?
Oh, it was soft. I mean, it was a foul. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, it was a shoulder to shoulder, kind of bumbled him over. I didn't think it was a red. Definitely harsh.
I didn't either. I didn't even think it was a yellow. It just didn't make any sense for me. However,
yeah, it was a foul, but yeah, a yellow card.
Yeah, it's a foul nonetheless, but not a yellow, in my opinion. Pedro Goncalves, did I pronounce that right?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. Scored a beautiful volley on 50 minutes. There's a lot of beautiful goals this week.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Did you see the own goal? One of the worst own goals I've ever seen.
Deflection, caught the goalie standing, going for the other post. It was
he went to pass it back to the goalie, and he passed it straight back, and the goalie was off to the side.
Yeah.
And just rolled right into the net. Terrible.
It's bad.
Didn't look back.
Anyways, that brings us to the draw for the Europa League. Next round, we have the teams that finished first in their groups against the team that won these two-legged ties. The draw came out, and we have Union Berlin against Union Saint-Gilloise. Battle of the Unions. I really don't know a lot about Saint-Gilloise. We got Sevilla against Fenerbahce. Should be a good tie. We have Juventus against Freiburg. I'm excited for this one.
That one could be interesting.
It could be. We got Bayer Leverkusen against Ferencváros. Sporting Lisbon against Arsenal.
That one could also be interesting.
Hector Bellerin returning to Arsenal.
To face
I don't
Arsenal,
think he's going to really do much against them, but it's good to see him back. I wish him all the best success except for against Arsenal. My favorite
came on as
tie
a sub against Midtjylland.
He did. My favorite tie of the round. Manchester United against Real Betis. Betis has been a real bugaboo team for United over the last decade. Every time they face them in the Champions League, they seem to get one up over them.
I don't think it'll happen this time, man. United are...
I don't either, especially with the first game in
well.
Manchester at Old Trafford. I don't really see Betis doing anything, but if they can keep it level, come out with a draw, anything could happen. They're a solid squad, but the way Manchester United has been playing lately, I don't see this going any way but in United's favor. Next up, AS Roma against Real Sociedad.
I think that's one to keep an eye on, too.
Yeah.
That should be a good one.
Should be. We'll see. I mean, Sociedad's been kind of up and down this season. They're doing well. They have a great squad. But just like Roma, they tend to lose some games they should win and win some games they shouldn't. It's just been happening all season. Unless you're Roma and you're playing against Napoli, it's just not going to happen this season. Next up, we got Shakhtar Donetsk against Feyenoord. Should be an interesting battle. I haven't seen Feyenoord play much this year, but they're generally pretty good, especially going forward. But I'm excited to see the first and second legs. First one going to be on March 9th, and I believe the second leg is March 16th. Should be exciting. Next up, we have the English Premier League. On the 24th, we had Fulham against Wolverhampton Wanderers. This one ended 1-1. Wolves went ahead in the 23rd minute. Paulo Sarabia getting the goal. And then the equalizer in the 64th minute for Manor Solomon.
What a goal, man. Did you see that one?
Oh, yes, I did.
That's a beauty.
It was a beaut. Make sure you go check that out. It's his third straight game scoring. I did not know that.
Coming off the bench, yeah.
Yeah. What a super sub for Fulham, especially with Alexander Mitrovic out. Wolves dominated this one in the first half. Fulham barely got a side on goal. I would say both teams are probably happy with this result. What do you think?
Yeah, I think both teams are happy with the draw. You know, Wolves, like I said, they played well in the first half. Definitely put it to Fulham. In the second half, Fulham got the goal, and I will say Fulham probably had the better chances at the end of that second half. So that's where I think both teams are probably happy with the draw.
Yeah. It was definitely a tale of two halves, I will say that. Next up, we had on the 25th, Everton against Aston Villa. This one was 0-0 at the half. Kind of boring. And then it came to life in the second half. Oli Watkins putting Villa ahead on the 63rd minute with a penalty. And then Emi Buendia with a beautiful 1-2 juke move to put him out of reach, putting the ball near post on 81.
Yeah, Everton, man. They looked the better team in the first half. They had some chances, but they couldn't put them away.
Nope. And, you know, there's just more pain and misery for Everton. It's a good
still
win.
In the relegation zone.
In my opinion, for Aston Villa, going to Goodison Park and winning. I thought for that first half, it could have gone either way, but the second half was all Aston Villa.
I think we predicted Villa would probably get one over on Everton, didn't we?
Yeah, I think we did. Next up, we had the bottom 6-pointer, Leeds United against Southampton. This one ended 1-0 to Leeds. This was also 0-0 at half. Debut for the new Leeds coach, and his name is escaping me at the moment.
Gracia, something like that.
Yes, that is it.
Is his last name?
Yes.
Because I wanted to say Garcia, but it's not Garcia because there's 2 R's in there.
There is. Junior Firpo getting the goal that proved to be the winner in the 77th. How big of a win is this for Leeds?
That's a huge win for Leeds, man. It takes them out of the relegation zone. They're now in 17th place, 1 point up on Everton, who are below them.
Yeah. Huge.
And I will say,
result.
Leeds deserved to win that game. They were the better team.
Which was going to lead me into my next question. How promising is this for Leeds to give them more encouragement going forward with how dominating they were against Southampton?
And none of those forward players didn't score, though. I mean, look at this goal. It came from a very unlikely scorer, their left back, Junior Firpo.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's got to give them some confidence, but at the same time, they need to start putting away chances.
Yeah, I agree. Next up, we had Leicester City against Arsenal. This one going 1-0 to the Gunners. It also was 0-0 at half. There's a theme here.
So, yeah, fun fact, every game on Saturday was 0-0 at halftime.
Yes. And every game in the morning was 0-0. Don't mean to play spoiler, but it was. And it drove me nuts. Especially since Leandro Trossard thought he put Arsenal ahead on 27 with a beautiful strike. Upper corner. However, Ben White was found to be holding hands with goalkeeper Danny Ward.
He was holding hands with him. I thought that one was harsh. Because the goalkeeper still got to the ball, still punched it.
Well, the thing for me is Danny Ward didn't try to get his hand out. He just left it there so he could flop on the ground. He still got a fist to it. All he had to do was pull his hand back. It didn't look like Ben White was really holding hands with him too hard. Apparently, he just wanted to stay close to Benny Blanco. But
well, what irritates me on that one is they call that one a foul, but then Saka gets dragged down in the box. And they
just
call
going
that
to
one a
get to
foul.
that. The penalty shot afterwards where Bukayo Saka gets essentially rugby tackled. In the
Defender
box
gave him a big hug
cross.
and drug him down to the ground.
Yeah, but nothing. I don't understand
Just
it.
inconsistent, man.
It's the level of refereeing that doesn't surprise me anymore. It really doesn't. But the fact that VAR didn't intervene on this and it did on the other one, I'll give credit to the ref. He went to the monitor for the first callback for Trossard with Ben White holding the hands. But I don't understand it. It's so inconsistent.
I had a hard time even seeing that on the TV. I was like, where's the foul?
I'll be honest with you. I had it on the projector. It was very large, like an entire wall, so I could actually see it. If I was watching on a TV, there's no way I would.
I know. I texted you. I was like, where was the foul in that? It looks like Ben White just stood there and jumped straight up.
It's this big on the wall, and it's like this. So, yeah, I don't get it. It was weird. And Saka being brought down by essentially a tackle when the ball was clearly going right to him. It went right over his head when he was on the ground.
Yeah.
Anyways, I digress. Arsenal still won the game, so I'm not mad.
After we were talking shit about Martinelli, how terrible he was playing, he goes and scores
At
a goal.
halftime, yeah, texting back and forth, Martinelli's having a howler. I will give credit, though. Leicester's defense was fantastic in that first half. They didn't let Arsenal have any shots on target that actually counted. I mean, the Trossard one was a shot on target, but didn't count. Arsenal, I mean, the first half was great defensively, dominated by Arsenal. No team had a shot on target.
You could feel a goal coming, though, with the way Arsenal were playing.
100%.
Like.
And that is a great segue, Targo. To the 46th minute we go, and Gabriel Martinelli put through behind the defense by Leandro Trossard with a great assist through the legs of the defender. With he essentially falling over, slots it to the far post, and then Wilfred Ndidi stomps on his knee as soon as he shoots the ball.
I wouldn't call it a stomp. You're being dramatic. He stepped on him, but I mean, it was stomp.
Okay, well, it's a step on the knee. Step,
It's not a
stomp.
stomp, though. Stomp means intent. There was purpose behind it.
You never know these days. Anyways, I've seen reds called for less. Red cards, that is. I think that could have been a red. I don't think it deserved one, but it could have been. I digress. It is a tale of two halves for Gabriel Martinelli, though. First half was awful. Couldn't finish anything. Couldn't hit a cross in to save his life.
His decision making
immediately
was poor.
out. Yeah, it was so bad.
Like he's like, yeah. When there was a time when he should have put a ball in and he has to cut it back 3 or 4 times. Like, dude, just cross it already. He had the space.
Commit to something. That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
But great start to the second half for him, regardless of being stomped on or not.
Stepped on.
And then on the 54th minute, Bukayo Saka had a goal called off for offsides. It was a lovely play, though, with Martinelli being marginally offside.
Barely. That was a fingernail.
I'm on a projector, and it's this much. Literally. It's probably the sleeve of his shirt. Nervy last 20 minutes for Arsenal, though. Leicester dominating possession, keeping the ball the whole time, reversing the possession stats with 68% possession, but couldn't get a shot on goal.
Yeah, honestly, it was Jamie Vardy and Yuri Tillmans once they came onto that game that it shifted.
Yeah,
it seemed Leicester were pressing more, winning the ball. It was still a little bit broken up, the game. Like, there's a lot of fouls started kind of happening during those last 20 minutes.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Yuri Tielemans bundling over his ankle, and that looked very painful.
Yeah, it did.
But credit to him. He finished out the game on it, on a bum ankle. I will give a shout-out to Gabriel, though. I thought he put in a man-of-the-match performance, winning all of his duels in the air and on the ground. So
good for him.
Yes. It was definitely a tale of defense in this game. Arsenal marginally winning this one. I thought it could have gone either way, and I thought Leicester were going to get one towards the end of that second half.
I almost had that feel, almost like last week with Man City and Nottingham Forest.
It did. It really did. And the commentators mentioned it about 5 or 6 times during that game. Next up, we had West Ham against Nottingham Forest. Again, another bottom-of-the-table 6-pointer. This one also, spoiler alert, was 0-0 at half. However, man, did this second half come to life. West Ham winning it 4-0. Danny Ings getting the first goal on the 70th minute. A second one on the 73rd. Declan Rice with a worldie for the third.
Beautiful curler on that one.
It was so beautiful. And then Miguel Antonio, thank God, West Ham fans. He ended his goal drought on the 85th minute. Been a long time since he's scored.
That was an important win for David Moyes. You think 100%. If West Ham lose that game, David Moyes is still manager at West Ham?
No.
I think that saved his job. His players went out and put out a good performance in that second half, and
I think it's a fantastic win going forward for David Moyes.
Something to build off of.
Because 4-0, that's an emphatic victory against someone who's above you in the table, but also fighting for relegation. Huge win. You get you get both of your strikers with goals in this game. Ducks off their backs. Declan Rice coming back into form, scoring another goal. This couldn't have gone any better for West Ham.
Fantastic. Yeah, now they sit in 16th place. Got a little bit of breathing room, not much.
Yeah.
Just a couple points, but
they're only 2 points back from Nottingham Forest.
Yeah,
who
they are
sitting in 13th place. So getting up there in the table is huge for them. But the more and more this season goes on, the more and more accurate I think your prediction is of Everton going down.
You think so?
I hate to say it. It's looking more and more accurate. It hurts my soul, or lack thereof. But I digress. Next up, we had another draw. Crystal Palace against Liverpool.
Don't forget about the game above it.
I won't. but we're here now.
Okay.
Another draw for Crystal Palace, and yet
another draw for Crystal Palace, man. The team that keeps on tying.
Crystal Palace has no wins this calendar year, and they have more draws than losses. I think Diego Jota could have had a goal on 22 minutes. It was from a difficult angle.
I don't think he would have. That would have been harsh, man. His body was almost over the line as he's trying to head that.
I've seen him score better goals than that.
Nah, that would have been hard. Angles. I mean, the ball was literally in line with the goalpost, and how was he supposed to curl that around with his head?
I get it. It's not his foot, so it's a lot harder. Credit to you, though. Miguel Olise with a fantastic game. Brilliant crosses and free kicks all game for Palace. He just lacks that final finish from the rest of the squad. Shows you how much they're missing Wilfried Zaha.
Wilfried Zaha or any kind of finisher up top.
Yeah. But Mateta did hit the crossbar on the 41st
Should have scored,
minute.
not hit the crossbar.
Should have scored, but he did hit the crossbar. Terrible giveaway from Trent Alexander-Arnold.
He got caught on the ball, man.
Yeah.
He just was holding on to it, got caught on the ball.
Yeah. But for Liverpool in this game, most disappointing thing had to be the performance of Mohamed Salah. I mean, he hit the crossbar in the 48th minute, but the rest of the game is poor decision-making the entire game, yet again.
Yeah, he does not look good.
No. Cody Gakpo had a chance to win it in the 81st minute.
He should have done better on that one.
Poor chip.
I don't even know if they call it a chip. He straight up sliced it.
Yeah, it was bad. And then we moved to Bournemouth against Manchester City. Arsenal being up 5 points before this game started, with their game ending before this game. But City never left this in doubt, unlike the game against Nottingham Forest. They're up 3-0 at half. Alvarez with a goal in the 15th minute. Foden with a great piece of play, had a shot saved. Holland hit the crossbar. Alvarez had a tap in. Kind of sums up the game for me, really. Holland scored a tap in the 29th to get his goal to go above Sergio Aguero for most goals in a season in the Premier League for Manchester City. With 13
That's crazy.
games left.
His first season.
Yeah, with 13 games left. Foden got his goal for the first time since November with a terrible back pass from Phil Billing.
Phil Billing was doing there, man.
Oh, so bad. It's almost like he was trying to pass it to Foden.
Yeah.
Like, it would have been a perfect through ball, but he's the defender in this scenario.
Yeah, I mean, Bournemouth's defense was Swiss cheese, man. Man City was cutting them up left and right.
It was so bad.
Could have been more than 4, honestly.
It could have been. Alvarez thought he got a second on 51, but Neppen hit it in the net. It was going wide, hits it in the net for an own goal. Jeffrey Lerma, bright spot for Bournemouth, gets the only goal for Bournemouth in the 83rd. Great play by Zamora on that one, making a run all the way from left back, all the way forward, getting in the cross for Lerma. But Jayden Anthony was the only other bright spot for Bournemouth. And that's about all I can say for Bournemouth. I want to say positive things, but I have nothing.
They got a couple good signings at Traore. They got. I thought he looked good in the previous game, not against Manchester City. But yeah, I think we expected this, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Man City definitely took out some frustrations after that Leipzig draw.
It's one of those things. Manchester City and Bournemouth, it never ends well for Bournemouth.
No,
never has. I think
the commentator said something that Bournemouth has beat all the other top 5 teams except for Manchester City.
Mm-hmm. Not this season, but
this season, but in previous seasons, in their history, we'll say.
Next up on the 26th, we had the big game of the weekend. We had Tottenham Hotspur against Chelsea. Surprise to everybody else, Chelsea didn't score yet again.
What was it at halftime?
0-0. Surprise. And again, surprise, Tottenham showed up in the second half. Weird. They win it 2-0.
A second half team? What?
The big talking point of this game in the first half was an incident between Hakeem Ziyech and Emerson Royale, where...
Let me get your thoughts, yeah, because I'm curious to hear what your whole play on it is, and I'll tell you mine.
All right, for those of you listening, what ended up happening was Ziyech essentially retaliated to a push from Richarlison.
Start from the beginning. Start from the foul.
You go ahead, because I missed the foul.
So Ziyech fouls Richarlison, and Richarlison kind of gets up, puffing his chest. A little push and goes back and forth. And then Emerson Royale comes in and pushes Ziyech. And Ziyech goes to push him back, and he kind of hits his shoulder, and his hand slides up and hits him into the face. And so Royale obviously goes down, clutching his face. And so the referee kind of has talks with his assistant, gives Ziyech a red card. VAR gets involved, tell him to go look at the screen. The referee comes back, switches the red card to a yellow card, and then that's where we're at.
So my opinion of this is I think it was 2 yellow card offenses, and it should have been a red card.
Okay.
That is my opinion.
For the foul and then for the push?
Yes, 100%. Because whether or not his hand went up the shoulder of Emerson Royale, it still contacted his face and his throat, which is a red card in most offenses if you go straight and hit someone in the throat or the face. I know
they called it accidental, though, is why.
Still yellow card. Accidental or not, this was not on the ball play, and he clearly went for Emerson Royale.
But if
has been trying to crack down on these
it's not clearly
things,
for the face and it was accidental, I think that's why they're saying it was not a red card.
More of the Well, I agree. It should have been a yellow. I
for
do
the
agree
push
with that,
and for the
but
foul.
I think the foul and the push on Richarlison also deserved a yellow, which should have been 2 yellows and a red card. Not a straight red, but 2 yellows and a red.
Okay.
What are your thoughts?
I thought how it played out was perfectly how it should have happened. I don't think he was trying to hit his face. You can see he tries to hit his shoulder, and his hand kind of slips off his shoulder, and it does hit him in the face. It's not hard. I mean, these are grown men. Take it like a man, Royale. You got a little knock on the face. Whatever, dude. Don't be a baby about it.
Whatever, dude.
And so, yeah, it's a yellow card. I think Emerson should have got a yellow card, too, for his push.
Yeah. No,
he did.
I do agree. Richarlison, too, honestly.
Yeah, and so I think the ref got it right on. I don't think it was a red. You know, I'm glad he went and looked at the screen, checked it out. And so, yeah, I thought the way it was handled on field was perfect.
Okay. Well, then, from your point of view, one of the few instances all season where VAR has done a good job and the referee did his.
Yes.
So, kudos. We got to give kudos where it's due, so that way later on we can give them crap for not doing their jobs. All right. Højbjerg hit the post on 27th minute after some beautiful play from Tottenham.
Beautiful build-up play, man.
I'm not used to saying that. I'll be honest with you. It's usually really ugly. But it was beautiful.
And he takes a shot, takes a little deflection off. I think it was Fofana.
Yeah, I think so.
And it goes off the post because, Thiago came off injured in that game.
Which could possibly be a huge blow for Chelsea.
Yeah.
If he's out for a lengthy period of time. Just seconds after the second, a scoreless half of football. Surprise. Oliver Skip with his first goal for Spurs. And what a majestic strike it was. Off the crossbar, off of a parry from Kepa. But man, did he hit that with some ferocity.
Banger, yeah. Takes it off the chest as it's bouncing, just catches it the volley with the outside of the foot.
He did. What a great first goal for him for Spurs, and I'm happy for him.
Very unlikely goal scorer, yeah.
Yeah. Richarlison subbed off before Spurs' second goal. He still hasn't scored a goal for Spurs in the Premier League.
You know what's funny is I saw that in the notes that you had written. I was like, no way. Richarlison has to have 1 goal for Spurs. And so, of course, I had to go look it up. Nope. He has
no Premier League goals. He has no
Premier League goals
League.
For Spurs.
But, yeah, it's really bad.
That's wild.
Yeah. Which surprises me why Son is not starting the last 2 games and Richarlison has. Because Son makes an instant impact. And off of a corner, Eric Dyer with the flick. Harry Kane puts it in the net. Surprise, surprise. Richarlison comes off, Spurs get a goal. I don't like the guy, Richarlison, that is. I think his attitude affects everything, and clearly he's not doing it for Spurs, which by the end of the season, if he still has it, I might put him down as the worst signing of the season.
Yeah, I don't care for Richarlison either. I think we've
Send
said
him
that
back
before.
to Everton.
But,
They need him.
but wow, I did not know he didn't have a goal. Like I said, I had to look that up, and it's like, oh wow, he really hasn't scored one for
I
him.
heard that stat about a month ago when he came on as a sub, and I was like, there's no way. There's no way. And I've literally been keeping track ever since. I'm like, it's still not happening. It's almost March. What? I don't know how. I don't. But Tottenham don't score many goals. Harry Kane seems to get most of them, so it kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
He does have a couple of assists in there, so I'll give him credit. Chelsea have scored 2 goals this entire calendar year, and they've won 2 games since November 3rd.
Yeah, and I saw another stat. It's 6 goals in their last 11 Premier League games, which is the fewest of any team in the Premier League in that time span.
Yeah.
They cannot buy goals. Literally, they tried. They spent lots of money.
They tried.
But we'll get into our next episode. We'll get into this.
Yeah, I'm not
Chelsea
trying
squad.
to dilly-dally on this, but it's hard not to talk about it. Because it's bad.
So make sure you guys tune into our next episode because we're going to dive into these Chelsea and Liverpool teams and what's going on with them.
It doesn't make sense, but we'll try to figure it out. Next up, we had the Carabao Cup final. The first trophy of this year. Newcastle against Manchester United. Did Newcastle end their 68-year drought for a trophy? Sorry to spoil it for you. No, they didn't. Manchester United wins their first trophy in 6 years. I think the biggest thing, it really was, that Nick Pope wasn't playing in this game. I think it was huge. Newcastle didn't really create much going forward. They had a moment in the first half.
St. Maximin, yeah.
Maximin, beautiful run of play. I would say De Gea had a lucky save on that one. He didn't move and hit him in the arm.
He lifted his arm a little.
That's
what you do when you're a goalie, man. You just try to make yourself big.
He does a great job. David De Gea, still, in my opinion, is one of the best goalies in the world.
I'll say he's one of the best shot stoppers in the world. If
St. Maximin puts that anywhere else, it's in the net.
St. Maximin didn't have a lot of goal to look at, though, at that angle. No. He's at a tight angle.
Puts it a little higher, though. It's in the goal. And it kind of came back to bite him in the butt. Because on the 33rd minute, Casemiro scored on a header. Beautiful free kick from Luke Shaw. Glancing off Casemiro's head and into the bottom corner. Putting United up 1-0. And then just before halftime in the 39th minute, Marcus Rashford scored off of what looked like a deflection. I know we've watched this like 4 or 5 times now. Still can't tell if it was an actual deflection or if Rashford mishit it and it somehow hit the ground and went a different direction. I got nothing. Either way, I think Karius should have better.
Yeah, can't put as much blame on Karius as those 1 Champions League goals, as I'm sure most of us know about. He had a couple howlers in a Champions League final for Liverpool against Real Madrid.
That was bad.
This one, yeah, I think he could have done better. Can't fault him too much. But Rashford, unstoppable at the moment.
Yeah, he gets goals from every which direction, and credit to him, he might be the most informed player in the world right now.
Pretty sure we say that every show. Yep.
I'm going to keep saying it if he keeps scoring. There's nothing that's going to change my mind. Mbappe is coming back from injury. Messi will be the best player in the world, but he's not the most informed player in the world.
Victor Osimhen might give Marcus Rashford.
It's close. However, seeing Rashford do it against the teams he is versus Osimhen
and in cup finals too.
Yeah. Anyways, let's fly over to Germany and check out what happened in the Bundesliga. We had the big game on the 25th. RB Leipzig coming off their draw against Manchester City, against Frankfurt coming off their 2-0 loss to Napoli. And guess what? Momentum is a real thing because RB Leipzig wins this one 2-1 Timo Werner put Leipzig ahead on the 6th minute with a bad giveaway from Frankfurt. And Emil Forsberg doubled the lead in the 40th minute. And the whole first half was really only one-way traffic. Second half, Frankfurt showed up a little bit more. They got a goal on the 61st minute with Jabril Sao. Yeah. But, I mean, this was all one-way traffic in my mind. I think Leipzig
huge win for Leipzig, man. Takes them up into 4th place. Huge. 42 points. 4 points behind Bayern Munich, who have 46.
Yeah.
That was a big game for those teams.
One heck of a title race in Germany, ladies and gentlemen.
So I want to hear your thoughts. Does someone other than Bayern Munich win the Bundesliga this year? I want it now. A yes or no. You don't have to tell me which team. I just want a yes or no.
Putting me on the spot, man.
I know, but this is a big year in the Bundesliga.
It is.
Bayern aren't running away with it.
I'm going no.
You're going no.
And my reasons are Leipzig or Bayern Munich have only lost. Wow, I'm all over the place today. They've only lost 2 games.
Yep.
It's their goal differential. Plus 43. Next closest is Dortmund and Leipzig at plus 18. I don't see this going any way towards the end of the season. I mean, they still have, 16 games left?
They've played 22.
They have less teams in the Premier League, so that would be 36 games. So, 14 games left. I don't think this is a marathon, not a sprint. I think Bayern Munich. Maybe it's close. Maybe it's closer than it has been in recent years. I want someone else to win it, but I think Bayern Munich will win it.
Okay.
How about you?
I think Bayern Munich will win it too, yeah. I was hoping you'd say someone different.
I want to, but this is you asked me predict.
Yeah.
Not an opinion or a want. If I'm wanting, I want somebody else to win it. Yeah, I want an underdog to win it. I would love to see Union Berlin win it because that would be the greatest underdog story since Leicester City. It'd be fantastic. But I don't think it's going to happen.
No. All right, well, moving on then.
Thank you. Next up, we had Hoffenheim against Borussia Dortmund. Dortmund win this one 1-0 with maybe one of the craziest goals I've ever seen scored.
This one was wild.
Julian Brandt literally putting this ball off his back into the net. And it wasn't one of those where you think it hits the guy in the back and redirects the direction of the ball. No, it bounces off his back, goes to the far corner because he's bending over.
Trying to get out of the way.
Trying to get out of the way, bounces off his back, just keeps going straight forward into the net.
It was hilarious. Check that one out, guys. It's a funny one. I don't think I've ever seen one like
hard
that.
About a goal in a long time. I did see one from the Japanese league today where the guy goes to pass the ball back to his
Wasn't
goalie.
it an own goal? Like a terrible own goal? Yeah.
The goalie was on the edge of the 18-yard box.
He crosses it into the net,
and it goes straight in. It was a beautiful finish, but the goalie was like behind him. Like, who were you hitting that to?
Yeah,
it was so bad. So check that one out too.
I saw that one. Yeah,
you want a good laugh. Dortmund have won all 9 games in 2023.
On fire, man.
This should have been more than 1-0, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would say Dortmund dominated this game with Hoffenheim having moments, and I will say both keepers played very well in that game.
I would agree. Dortmund, though, they need that. They have it at times, but they need a more consistent finishing touch in games because if they don't get it all season, this is where the Bayern Munich is going to pull ahead of them, and they're not going to be able to keep up.
Yeah, they win this game off a fluke, weird ball off the back of Brandt.
Yeah, Julian Brandt putting the team on his back and scoring a goal. I couldn't go the whole segment without saying it. Come on.
I knew you were going to say something about that. Carrying them on his back.
Next up on the 26th, we had Freiburg against Bayer Leverkusen. We thought this game was going to be pivotal in the race for the top of the league. I guess it kind of is. I think this game, it ended 1-1. I think this hurts Leverkusen more than it hurts Freiburg?
I think it hurts Freiburg more.
Really?
Well, they're in 5th place now.
Yeah, but Leverkusen's
Versus they
in
would
11th.
be in 4th if they had won this game.
Leverkusen's in 11th. If they would have won, they'd be up. I guess technically they would be in 9th, but I don't understand how Leverkusen's in 11th with the squad they have. It doesn't make any sense to me.
I don't either.
Yeah, that's all I really have for this game. 1-1 hurts both teams. That's it. Next up, we have Bayern Munich against Union Berlin. I thought this game was going to be exciting. Back and forth. It ended 3-0 to Bayern Munich.
Yeah. Bayern Munich took out some aggression on Union Berlin.
Steamrolled Union Berlin. Choupo-Moting getting another goal. I know you don't like him. I know you don't rate him very highly.
I don't.
But he just keeps scoring, man. Just keeps doing it.
Because I had to say something. That's,
right?
It's like Martinelli in that last game. I said, Martinelli's playing like crap. What's he doing?
These guys must be listening to you somewhere.
They must be. Right. They're hearing me in their head somewhere and say, I got to prove Targo wrong. Go play well.
I hope that's the case because, I mean, that's great publicity for us. But I don't think it is. I think it just happens to be what happens. So, Kingsley Coman putting in what might have been a man of the match performance in this one.
Yeah, he played excellent.
He scored in the 40th minute, assisted Choupo-Moting. Yeah, he was great. Musiala scoring off a cross from Thomas Müller. A stoppage time in the first half. And hey, happy birthday, Jamal Musiala. You keep being one of the best players in the world at 20 years old.
Yeah, 20th birthday on Sunday when they played Union Berlin.
Let's talk about that save from the Union Berlin goalie.
So this one was hilarious. Sadio Mane has an amazing run, pretty much hands it to Thomas Müller on a silver platter. All he has is the goalie in front of him. Müller hits it, and it hits this goalie straight in the forehead, man. It just, he goes out, makes himself big. The shot comes in and just doinks him right in the head. Hilarious.
It's one of those ones where you watch it in slow motion and it turns into a meme.
Like, it was harder for Müller to hit the goalie in the head than to not score.
Yeah.
Sadio Mane should have had a couple assists in that game, man. He set up a couple players for just some sitters, just had to finish it. I think the other one was Alphonso Davies, and he missed his. But it's good to see Sadio Mane back doing what he does.
Yeah. It's great to see. He's one of the best players in football and one of the best humans in all of football. So,
yeah. Great
to see him back doing his thing. Hopefully, we see a lot more of it to come. Till then, let's fly over to Spain and Targo. What happened in La Liga?
So, man, on the 25th of February, we had the Madrid derby. Real Madrid versus Atletico Madrid. And we said this one would be feisty, didn't we?
We did.
We did. It had 6 yellow cards and a red card in this game.
Huh?
And it ended 1-1. Angel Correa, he gets sent off in the 64th after an elbow to Rudiger. A little light, I thought. But can't just go throwing elbows out. So
it's one of those. It's one of those where you watch it in real time and it doesn't seem like much. And
no, when you slow it down.
You watch in the replay slow down, it almost looks intentional.
Yep.
I know you think it was harsh, but was it really? It looked deliberate.
It kind of did, yeah. Like you can see the elbow go up.
You can't do that. You can't do that.
But what I hate is Rudiger holding his face.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And it didn't hit him in his face.
We've been known that Rudiger does this since his time at Chelsea. And it's a thing that football players do, I guess.
Be a man, bro. Stand up.
Yeah. You get hit in the chest. Hold your chest. Not your face.
But Jimenez, the defender for Atleti, he put a header in off a brilliant free kick from Antoine Griezmann, giving Atletico the lead. And then Alvaro Rodriguez gets his La Liga debut for Real Madrid, levels the game in the 85th minute off a corner from Modric.
It was
only
fantastic.
18, 19 years old, I think.
Yeah. Ancelotti coming out after the game and saying that there's nobody in the entire Madrid squad like him. He says different characteristics, and he will, going forward, be a lot more in the squad, I guess you should say.
Well, that's good.
You're going to feature a lot more going forward. And it's fun to see youth players coming through Madrid and actually seeing them succeed, not being sold.
Yeah, getting minutes. The other game we had mention of note was Valencia against Real Sociedad. So this is a huge win for Valencia as they went up 1-0 off an own goal by Zubeldia in the 40th. And that's how it ended, 1-0 to Valencia, who are rooted bottom of the table. I don't think we gave them a chance to win that game.
No, I definitely didn't, especially with, the quality of Real Sociedad. Valencia going up to 18th place?
Yeah, I take that back. They weren't bottom of the table, but they were
19th.
Yeah, so now they're in 18th.
Yeah, and now they're 1 point off of the drop zone.
Yep.
I still think Valencia, they're too good of a squad to be.
They should not be relegated, right?
They're on their third coach of the season. There's no way. Like, if you showed the squad to me or anybody else on paper, there's no way this team should go down. They should be closer to the top than the bottom.
But that's a huge win for them and a tough loss for Real Sociedad.
Agreed.
And then we have the shock of the weekend, honestly. Probably the entire weekend. Almeria beating Barcelona 1-0. So El Bilal Toure scores off a ball over the top of the Barca defense. It's a nice chip ball over, and he takes it on the volley, rifles it past Ter Stegen in the 24th minute.
Great finish.
And that's how it ended, 1-0.
Tough week for Barcelona. I mean, they could have gone... potentially they could have gone 10 points up.
I know, so now, believe it or not, Madrid actually closed the gap by a point, down to 7.
Yeah. They could have been 10 points up on Madrid and essentially talking about the title race over.
I will say Barca played very poorly.
Yeah, they did. Tough week for Barcelona as well, after losing to Manchester United on Thursday.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. Tough week for them.
Yeah, very. Next up, we go to Italy, the Serie A, and the runaway champions. I'm gonna say.
Are you going to officially call it now?
Yeah, saying it. Napoli on the 25th beating Empoli 2-0. Ismajli own goal saw Napoli go up on the 17th minute, and then guess what? Victor Osimhen gets another one. 28th minute, scores off a rebound, 19 goals in 20 games in the Serie A. Is Napoli in this position without him?
Maybe. The way the coach has that team humming, I think you got to give a lot of credit to the coach for Napoli, man, and the teams around him. Again, let me scroll back up to his name so I can pronounce it. Ceviche Kvaratskhelia. However you say it. Got to give credit to him. Chucky Lozano, I thought looked pretty good in that game.
Yeah, what a resurgence from him. I thought
Lobotka, Anguissa, all those guys look good. So I think you got to give credit to the coach.
Career was pretty much over. And what a resurgence from him. Credit to Napoli's coach. These guys are humming. They're playing fantastic. In my opinion, they're the best team in Europe right now. Which is
curious
hard
to see how they'll do in the Champions League.
I'm excited, especially seeing the draw for the next round. I'm not going to get ahead of myself and say that Frankfurt's an easy test, but without Colomwani, I think it's going to be pretty obvious which way this is going to go.
I think so too.
So they could face teams like Real Madrid in the next round.
That's what I see. Real Madrid.
What a fantastic tie
Bayern
that
Munich,
would be.
PSG, Man City.
RB Leipzig even.
Those are some tasty games to look forward to, potentially.
Statement. All right. Marco Rui got a red card in the 67th. He kicked another player.
Deserved. He kind of got tackled, and then when he was rolling around the ground, kind of kicked out a leg. Can't do that.
Red card. Next up, we had on the 26th, Bologna against Inter. This was the shock result of the weekend with Bologna running out 1-0 winners.
Do you remember us not giving Bologna any love and both going, Inter will win?
100%. Credit to Bologna, man. I don't know if this was
too.
They look
Inter
really
looked
good.
Terrible.
I was going to say, I don't know if this was a good performance from Bologna or a bad performance from Inter, and it was a good performance from Bologna. They looked fantastic.
They did. And it
was one-way traffic the whole game.
Yeah, they had a goal call back off of offside. It was a weird one. So a shot came in from one of the Bologna players, and as it was heading towards goal, it was heading towards another Bologna player who ducked out of the way. And the ball went into the net. And so the ref went and looked at it at VAR, and he called it back to offsides, saying that player had interfered with play because he had to move out of the way. That's what they said. Do you agree with that?
No. Not at all.
Yeah, me neither. I thought that was harsh. Like, man, the guy moved out of the way. He didn't touch the ball.
If he's impeding the goalkeeper, then I agree with the ref. But he wasn't. So
I don't think he was, yeah.
It's a goal.
I thought it was harsh.
But then after the letter of the law, that's a goal.
I thought it should have been.
Yeah.
But yeah, then right after that, they hit the crossbar. And yeah.
Deserved win for Bologna either way.
But we were praising Lukaku in the Champions League. He played terrible in this game, man.
Yeah.
He got subbed off.
Inter's chairman coming out before this game saying that Lukaku is 30 kilograms overweight.
He's a big guy, that's for sure.
He's a big guy. 30. That's a lot of weight, though. I don't see it. That much overweight. He's a big guy naturally.
He's just a muscly. Yeah, he muscles
fat.
defenders. That's what he does.
30 kilograms is fat for a soccer player. I don't understand it.
Yeah, that was a terrible looking field too, man. There was puddles and every step you could see the splash of water coming off the ground.
I didn't know if I was watching the Serie A or the Nations League in England. I couldn't tell, which just tells you that it was very, very poor quality. I've played on better fields than that. We both have growing up. So.
And I played on some worse ones.
Yeah, well, 100%. But I expect that. Next up, we had AC Milan against Atalanta. We thought this game was going to be close. Could go either way. It only went one way.
Yeah, I think you called Atalanta, didn't you?
I did. They didn't show up in this one.
Nope.
The AC Milan ran out 2-0 winners. 25th minute, Juan Musso with the own goal.
It's the goalie. Yeah, that was a rough one. Yeah. Teo Hernandez had a beauty of a strike, man.
Yeah.
A beauty.
Yeah.
And it hits the post, bounces back off the goalie into the goal.
Yeah.
Sorry about your luck.
We got 2 in a week. First Emi Martinez, now Juan Musso. So
yeah.
And then AC Milan finished the 2-0 win in the 86th minute. Junior Messias finished it off a beautiful through ball.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of that Gagpo through ball against Crystal Palace, except this guy actually finished it, chipped the goalie.
Surprise, surprise. The reason why one of them is going to probably stay in the Champions League and the other one has no chance of staying in the Champions League. Zlatan Ibrahimovic coming back in this one, coming back to full fitness, coming on as a sub. How many times can I say coming on? In the 74th minute for Olivier Giroud. Good to see him back. But how good did he look in those new AC Milan jerseys?
Dude, those are slick.
They are slick.
I want one. My birthday's coming up. You know what to get me.
You know the only thing I'll ever buy you is an Arsenal jersey. Sorry.
Yeah, I know.
Or some Brews and Banter merch from Red Bull.
Or some Brews and Banter merch. That's right.
Insert plug here.
Yeah, I was like, not to plug our own brand. But...
Yeah, I can't believe Chelsea went after Mihajlo Mudryk and not Rafael Leao.
He looked so good in that game, Leao. Like, why? Be honest with me. Mihajlo Mudryk, how many times had you actually seen him play?
I've seen him. I probably could count them on one hand. I couldn't probably give you it's no more than 5.
It would be Champions League, I'm guessing, right?
Probably 4, 100%. All Champions League games. I watched all of his group stage games. So 3.
How many times have you seen Rafael Leao play for Portugal, for AC Milan?
I've seen him more times play for Portugal than I have seen Mihailo Mudryk play, period. How about that?
There you go. So that's what I'm saying. Why would you go spend $100 million on Mihailo Mudryk when you could probably get Rafael Leao for that same price?
It's because Todd Bowley likes to shop off of other people's shopping lists, and he went for Arsenal's all January. So
it doesn't make sense, man.
Yeah, well,
but that's
where Arsenal is now, and Jorginho's reaping the rewards. So,
but yeah, things are heating up in Serie A for that second place finish. Inter Milan and AC Milan both tied on points on 47.
And AS Roma's 3 points back in 4th place.
Yep,
44 points. So, as anyone's game, but we all know it's
anyone's game for second place.
No trophies for second place, but according to Arsene Wenger, there is one for 4th. So
it's everyone's game, but they're playing Napoli's game.
Yeah, 100%.
Serie A.
Next up, we go to Ligue 1. Marseille against PSG, the 26th. Last time these two teams played, Marseille ran out winners in the Coupe de France. This time, PSG wins 3-0.
PSG played good.
Was this ever a game?
No, PSG played good, man. It wasn't. Neymar, he's injured, but Mbappe and Messi. It was the Mbappe and Messi show.
Again, brings up the point, are they better without Neymar?
Maybe.
I think
Just
so.
anything to go off this game, yeah.
I think so. I think it's time for them to bench Neymar because Mbappe and Messi without Neymar are just better.
So I don't know how long Neymar is out for, but I kind of want to see this PSG team take on Bayern Munich without Neymar.
Neymar's out for till at least his birthday, which is March 6th. So
that's not very long.
He won't be fully fit by the time they play Bayern Munich. How about that? That's all I got. Alexis Sanchez played for Marseille.
Yeah, did you know he plays for them?
Mm-hmm.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, he signed as a free agent after he got let go by Inter Milan.
I remember when I was watching this game, I was like, Alexis Sanchez plays for Marseille? Then obviously him and Matteo Guendouzi.
A lot of former Arsenal
Nuno
players.
Tavares left back.
Who has 6 goals this season. Crazy.
Dude, you got to see this mustache Alexis Sanchez is rocking.
Oh, I have. Trust me.
It's like if I grew a mustache and just had the mustache.
Okay. It was like awkward silence. You're trying. Anyways, let's get to the midweek games.
Well, hold on. Long story short, Mbappe had 2 goals. Messi had a goal.
Yeah.
And they both assisted each other's goals.
Exactly. It was the two of them having fun in a schoolyard, essentially. Or should I say a field.
Kick around with the boys.
A bunch of farmers. Kick around with the boys. All right, on the first, we have the makeup games in hand. Arsenal against Everton. This one at the Emirates. As you all could remember, Everton beat Arsenal at Goodison Park 1-0 last time out. How do you see this one going?
Dude, Arsenal need to get some revenge in this game. That's what I'm saying.
I think they will. I think this is going to be a statement game. The Arsenal wins handily.
I don't think they will, man. You know, Sean Dyche is going to set up a very defensive unit.
But it's different. Arsenal haven't won at Goodison Park in 5 years. This is at the Emirates. Arsenal have only lost 1 game at the Emirates this year, and arguably they should have won that game. They just gave the game to Manchester City. I think that this is not close. I think Arsenal, especially if they start Trossard up front again, he looked good. And I don't... Gabriel Jesus on the bench for this one? I think so.
Nah, I don't think we'll see him for another couple of weeks.
I don't think we'll see him start. I think he'll be on the bench, but I don't think he comes on. I think he's just there. Moral support. But yeah, I don't think this one's close. I think Arsenal win this one. Everton losing a big game against Aston Villa.
I hope you're right.
I do too.
But I don't think you are.
5-point gap again. Everybody's played the same amount of games. But the one I really want to talk about is the next one. Liverpool against Wolves. Wolves have been that bugaboo team for Liverpool in the last couple of seasons. How do you see this one going?
Where's it at? Anfield?
Mm-hmm.
I like Wolves, man. I like the way they're playing.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Matthias Nunez,
they've been a
man,
bugaboo team. I don't know if that changes.
Matthias Nunez in the midfield. Craig Dawson, new signing at center backs, looks pretty good. I will say Matthias Cunha came off against Fulham injured, so I don't know if he'll play.
But
Raul Jimenez started. That was good to see him get a start. Good to see him.
Yeah, I think this is going to be tough for Liverpool.
Oh, for sure will be tough, especially the way they're playing. They suck.
Yeah. I'm going to go a 2-1 win for Liverpool.
I'll go a 2-1 win for Wolves.
That hurt me to say that. Is that bad? To pick Liverpool to win, it hurt. Is that bad?
Apparently.
Is that how far
Especially
Liverpool
at
has
Anfield?
fallen?
That used to be
Usually
a fortress.
I'm confident about this one. Shoot. All right. We got the return of the FA Cup on the 28th of February.
Today.
Yeah, today. Stoke and Brighton. I only see this going one way, but I guess it depends on who Brighton start. A trophy for Brighton would be huge. So I think they'll probably go pretty strong squad. Stoke's doing okay in the championship this year, but Brighton are on fire.
Yeah.
Fulham against Leeds next up. This one's intriguing.
I feel like Leeds are, honestly, they're a tough team to beat.
Mm-hmm.
They really are. They haven't been winning a lot of games, but they're not getting blown out of the water by these games that they're losing. You know, they got to win here at the weekend. I almost want to fancy Leeds.
I think Fulham's going to win this, and I think it's going to be like 1-0. Just the way that Fulham has been playing.
I want Leeds to win, but yeah.
I want Leeds to win as well. But
I don't think they will, though. The Fulham's been playing pretty good. Actually, I'll go the opposite. I'll say Leeds get the win. Just be.
Arguably.
I'll make a bold one.
Arguably. On the first, we have Manchester United against West Ham. Do you see this going any other way but for Manchester United?
No.
I don't either.
No.
Moving on. Sheffield United, hot off a very close win against Wrexham. Play Tottenham Hotspur. This one's in Sheffield. Do you fancy Sheffield for this one?
No.
I do. Tottenham away from home this season are not
non-league
great.
team, and now they're coming up against a Premier League team in fourth place.
Yes, but I also think with the return of Antonio Conte, they rest some players, knowing that they have the Champions League game coming up. I don't see them playing a full-strength squad, playing some youth players, and that field at Sheffield, it's not a good-looking pitch.
It's going to be
It looks awful. And I think that plays right into the hands of Sheffield United. This is the joy of the FA Cup.
I think
and
Leeds
for some reason, my
Tottenham
gut tells
quality,
me,
man.
My gut tells me this will be one of those games.
Kind of like the Liverpool Wolves game for me.
Yeah. But this one's a little more of the upset variety.
Oh, it's definitely more of an upset. But it's an upset I don't think will happen. I think you're dreaming.
All right. Well, I do like to dream. In the Serie A on the 28th, today, we got Cremonese against AS Roma. I see this going one way. But Cremonese has had some pretty good results against the bigger teams.
No, they haven't, dude. They haven't won a single game. They have not won a single game.
I was trying to test you, see if you actually believed me or not.
No.
Yeah, no, I don't believe me either, because they haven't.
Their last
Roma wins this game
was 9
That's
points. They have 0 wins, 9 draws, and 14 losses. Roma's in 4th place.
Yeah. This goes one way and one way only.
On paper, yes.
Roma wins. Next up, we got Juventus against Torino. This is 8th against 9th. This is actually a pretty big game.
This is a big game that Juve really need to win.
Mm-hmm.
They pretty much need to win out the rest of their season, if I'm being honest.
A win here sees them go to 7th. Torino could go above Juventus into 8th, but that's about as high as they can. I think this is a huge blow if Juventus loses this game.
Oh, it's a huge blow.
I don't see them losing it, but
They shouldn't.
it would be a huge blow. And then on the 2nd of March, we have Real Madrid against Barcelona. Copa del Rey first leg.
El Clásico.
At the Bernabeu. How do you see this going? First round in La Liga, Barcelona won.
It's hard. Barca have lost their last 2 games. Real Madrid thumped Liverpool and then tie Atletico. What a run of games, though, for Real Madrid. Damn.
Yeah.
You got to play Liverpool, Atletico, and now Barca?
Yeah, you would have to imagine the end of the season run out for Madrid has to be much easier than Barcelona.
Well, Real Madrid are also in the Champions League. Barca are not. I don't know, man. Barca always seem to have one over on Madrid. What's that?
I said Barcelona's not in Europe at all now, so
no.
There's that.
But the last time these teams met, Barca just thumped them.
Yeah, 3-1 if I'm not mistaken.
I think it depends if Pedri or Gavi are back.
I think both teams play weaker squads.
I think Pedri played at the weekend. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
I don't remember.
I'm going to go the draw.
A draw. I'll say a Real Madrid win.
Okay. That would be huge for Real Madrid, especially for their confidence. All right, changing gears. It won't go away. Seems like it's a rumor that's here to stay. I know you don't like it. I don't like it. Most fans around the world absolutely despise it, but the Super League.
Dude, this Super League is a freaking zombie. You think you've got it killed.
And
you see an arm twitching
keeps coming
and
back,
slowly come back to life. Yeah.
It's slightly mutated. One might say it's just like COVID. It's just annoying. It's there. Keeps sticking.
People hate it.
People hate it. Apparently this time they want to replace the Champions League. You're talking 80 teams going across the season, round robin style with a knockout round. What do you think of the Super League? Like it won't go away. The first round was a bust. I can't believe some of the teams that were there. Arsenal's one of them. It won't go away, and now players are starting to talk about it.
It's stupid. Why would you get rid of the Champions League? You get teams, I mean, like we're talking about Napoli and Eintracht Frankfurt. You have Porto still in it. Do you think those teams would be in the Super League?
Yeah.
All of them?
80 teams. Like they would.
I don't think Frankfurt would.
Well, if it's 80 teams, you're thinking that's more than the Champions League and the knockout or the playoff rounds for the Champions League.
I don't like it, man. It's all going to be club run. It's all about money. There's not going to be any financial fair play, if it's clubs running other clubs.
I'm still waiting for a rant from you, but I'll take that.
It's stupid. Again, you're just hurting a lot of the smaller teams. You're hurting all these smaller countries that make kind of the Champions League beautiful, where you get these deep runs from the likes of a Monaco you might not expect. Porto winning the Champions League. Even Dortmund making it to Champions League finals, although I think they would be in a Super League probably, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
And so it's great to see teams like that. I mean, you picked Midtjylland in the Europa League to beat Sporting Lisbon. So I mean, it's just teams like that, that I think it would just hurt. It would devastate. It just makes these rich clubs already richer.
Yeah, which doesn't surprise me that the people heading this are the presidents of Barcelona and Real Madrid.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's the owners of clubs. I mean, you look at the president of La Liga, Tebas. He's came out and they're all denouncing this league. They don't want it. I mean, the English government is coming out and setting rules in place to discourage any Premier League teams from joining such a league. Like I don't think it'll ever happen. Like I said, if the English government makes it pretty much illegal or discourages it so much that Premier League teams can join it, you lose a lot of your appeal, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, who else are you going to want to see? Real Madrid, Barca, Bayern, PSG, couple Italian teams, Juve.
It raises the question, especially with Manchester City and what's going on with them. If they get sent to Kingdom Come, whether it be out of the EFL, because they still have the chance or choice to accept them, and they get sent to the Nations League, isn't that like a more attractive proposition for them?
Yeah, but that's a big what if. I mean, we're still talking big what ifs. We don't know what's going to happen. Well, I mean,
Super League is a big what if.
That one's all. You're not wrong, but the talks of the Super League just need to die, man. They need to be done, burned, buried, put in the grave.
I agree. I'm not one to advocate for the Super League. I hate it. It's dumb. The whole thought of it is, I mean, I'll be honest with you, it's probably mostly Joan Laporta for Barcelona trying to get them out of debt. That's really why he's pushing it so hard. Same with Juventus because they keep cheating.
They need money.
Points. Like them and Real Madrid are the three teams that are still in it. Everybody else has dropped out. It reminds me so much. I know you're not a golf fan, but Live Golf and the PGA Tour, where the PGA Tour is like anyone that goes to join them is banned. You can't come back. The rumors were swirling for years, and then it happened. And it's just all money. That's all it is. It's not a profitable business. It's just money for these teams.
If FIFA got involved, maybe said any players that participate in this league are banned from the FIFA World Cup.
No one joins it. No one joins it. Not a single team. Well, if teams do, then you see players quit. These teams. Like shred contracts. I don't want to play here anymore. If that
something like that needs to happen, man, because that league just needs to die.
But what do you think of Toni Kroos coming out and supporting it, saying UEFA's not any better with this whole Nations League and making them play more games that make no sense?
I can understand that. Like even like the FIFA Club World Cup. I mean, it's all right. You get to see teams from North and South America, Central America play teams from Europe, Africa. But I mean, aren't those just better, honestly, as friendlies?
I think it should be something that it should be more like a friendly competition. Like you do it as a friendly tournament during the summer.
Maybe have a Super League before the season as a friendly. I would be okay with.
They do that in the United States right now.
They kind of do. You're not wrong. Yeah. And that's why I like it.
But those are friendlies. Those are warm-up games. They aren't real life.
But would this be any more real life? Like, okay, we made a new league now. There's this trophy. You guys want to win it? I mean, it won't have any history. It won't have anything like the Champions League.
Which is, I mean, I hate to use it as, comparing the two, but it's exactly like Live Golf. It's this new thing, a lot of money. It doesn't make any sense, and people go there because they want to make more money. That's literally it. There's no history. It's just another trophy that doesn't make any sense.
I think it hurts the teams who come up from the leagues below. Like if you're in the Championship
100%.
Or Segunda Liga, Serie B, and then you come up into the Serie A or La Liga or the Premier League, you're not the Super League.
No.
And guess what? All those Super League teams now have that much more money than you. Create that disparity even more.
It would ruin what we love about football, which is any team can win on any given weekend. At that point, you are making such a big gap in between the teams that you're putting teams that are smaller essentially making them obsolete.
And kind of to go back off that, like even in La Liga, we talked about Valencia. They're a team that shouldn't be where they're at. Do you think they would be a team in the Super League?
No.
See, I think they would because off their history. I think typically you think of Valencia being in Europa League, Champions League. And so I think they might be a team that could be in that Super League, but look where they're at right now, man. 18th place in La Liga. You don't get storylines like that, I think, if they're in a Super League and they have loads of money to spend.
Yeah. I mean, again, ultimately this essentially is going to make the smaller teams obsolete and the bigger teams that much richer. I mean, but like what we love about football, right? The Brightons, the Brentfords, the Union Berlins, the Real Sociedads, the Law of the world. It would make all of those runs by all of these teams that are much smaller in stature completely obsolete. It would,
or even Leicester winning a Premier League.
Yeah. It wouldn't happen.
Those Cinderella stories would become even more Cinderella.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, or it would go the other direction where all these big players don't want to play in the Super League and they go to these smaller teams. But I don't see that ever happening.
Yeah. Again, I think the Super League, that deal they came out and said, like, they want all the best players on the Super League teams.
Yeah. That's why there's so much money thrown around. Ultimately, I don't know what's going to happen, but you guys let us know. Is it something that you think won't go away? Is it something that's dead in the water? Is it something that's gaining momentum and teams might start to sign on to because of the amount of money thrown around? Let us know. But that's all I got.
Yeah, this was a longer episode, so I hope you guys enjoyed it on our rant on the Super League. Make sure to check out our socials at Brews and Banter FC, TikTok, Instagram. Join our Facebook group. Let us know your thoughts, what you think. What are your thoughts on the Super League, or maybe predictions you have for the weekend on teams that might win? We'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. Don't forget to check out our YouTube. You can see our reactions, how red Josh's face gets on some of these. It's always good.
Yeah, I do like to rant, and I do get heated. Literally,
yeah, make sure to check out our Redbubble. Get some merch. Help us keep doing this. We appreciate it. We love you guys. Thank you so much. Cheers.
Cheers.